In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a fishing scene in Python, and this could be used for CMU CS Academy as a sandbox program, as maybe a final project or a midterm project. And this fishing scene will cover most of the skills that you learned in that course. Okay, so let me show you what was required for this project, and then I'll do a sample run, and then we'll start coding. All right, so I'm going to put up on the screen now what the requirements were. So we needed comments. We needed a bunch of general shapes as part of the requirement. We needed to change general shape properties when the program was running. Okay, so for example, changing a font, changing a background, changing properties of lines or shapes. We needed conditional statements. We needed some type of events or use of key or mouse events to control the program. Okay, we didn't need to use all of them, but we needed to use at least one. We needed helper functions. We needed methods and custom shapes or app properties, and we needed about three of those. So for example, we needed app stop or contains XY, hits XY, hits shape, things like that. We needed to group shapes together, okay, and use group properties. We need to use group advanced where we're using .children or .add or .remove. And we also needed step, events, and motion in our project. So on step, apps steps per second, .dx horizontal motion, .dy vertical motion. So it was a pretty thorough project, especially for a beginner. So let me walk you through this simple project here. But first, let me show you how this runs. Okay, so let me put this in canvas view and well, let's go back. Let's run it. Okay, so what happens is the fish start coming across, and as soon as the fish hits a hook, it gets caught on there and it changes the labels. Okay, so it's using a detection to see if the fish hit the hook. Okay, so this blue one here should hit the hook here and it'll get caught. And we change the label on there. We have motion. So just a simple project, but something that definitely could be used as a final project. Okay, all right, let's get started coding. All right, to start off, let's set up our animation. Okay, so the comment here is going to be set up animation. And what we're going to do is we're going to do app dot steps per second is equal to 30. App dot step equals 0. All right, so the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my background. So I'm going to set up all my things that are static that'll stay on the screen. So this will set the scene here. So let's do sky and water. And for the sky, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go rectangle and I'm going to position 0, 0, 400 by 200, and I'm going to fill with sky blue as the color. All right. Um, for the water, same thing, rectangle, 0. I'm going to start the water now out at 200 for the Y. 400 by 200 with a fill of light blue. Okay, let's try this. All right, so we have our water and we have our sky. Okay. All right, so now let's create the sun. So I got sun, and we're going to go oval. We're going to say 340, 60, 70, 70, and we're going to fill it with gold color. All right, let's test that. All right, so we get our sun in the upper right-hand corner there. All right, we'll make the ground. So we're going to have the ground here. And the ground is going to be a rectangle, 0, 360. We're going to go 440, and we're going to fill this with a tan color. Okay? All right, so we have a nice scene setting up here. All right, so let's do the fisherman now. So it's just going to be a stick person. So the fisherman, so the head of the fisherman, we're going to say head equals, I'm going to say circle 60 by 150, 15, and we're going to fill with this color, peach puff, look like skin color. All right, let's run it and see. Okay, good. Next, we're going to do the body. So we're going to say line 60, 165, 60, 200, and we're going to fill equal black. All right, so there's the body of the person. All right, so we're going to do arm equals line, and we're going to go 60, comma 170, comma 100, comma 150, fill equal black again. Try that. Okay, so there the fisherman holding out his arm. And then we're going to go leg 1 equal line 60, 200, 50, 230, fill equal black. All right, let's see if the leg works. Okay, the leg works. Let's go leg 2. We're going to go line 60 by 200, 70, 230, fill equal black. All right, so we have the leg. All right, so now let's put a fishing rod in his hand. Okay, so fishing rod. With the fishing rod, we're going to say rod equals line 100, 150 for the position, 150, comma 100, and we're going to fill equal, and we're going to use saddle brown. And we're going to give it some width, so we're going to say line width is equal to 3. All right, so we run it, so he's holding out the fishing rod. Okay, good. All right, let's say line equals, so this will be the fishing line. So we're using a variable line, but then we're using the command line with a capital L, which is okay. 150, 100, 150, 220. We're going to fill equal black. And then in this case here, before they catch a fish, we're going to make it a dashed line. So we're going to say dashes equal true. When they catch a fish, it'll become a solid line. Okay, so it's a dashed line. We're going to put a hook on here, which is just going to be a circle actually. 150, 220 to position it right at the end of that line. 5 radius, fill equal gray. Okay, so we have that all set up for the fishing rod. All right, now let's put some labels on here. So labels are part of the requirement. So we're going to put a label at the top of the screen that says relaxing fishing scene. And it's going to be 225 for the positioning. Size equals 20 for the font. Fill equal dark blue. All right, let's try that. So we get relaxing fishing scene at the top. Very good. So now we're going to make a label called fish swim label. because we're going to change this. So we need a variable for it because one of the requirements is that we change either a label shape as the program's running by using a command. So we're going to say fish swim by peacefully in the water. And they're going to be swimming by peacefully until one gets caught. Then we're going to change that label. So 200 by 50, size equal 14. Our fill color is going to equal dark green. Okay, I'm going to need a single quote here. All right, let's run it. Okay, so we get our other label. Good. Let's move this up so you can see. All right, so now we're going to put caught label. Caught label is going to say, to start off, before we catch a fish, when it first runs, it's going to say, I'm trying to catch a fish. 200 by 75, size equal 14, fill equal dark red. Okay, we run it. It says I'm trying to catch a fish. So we're gonna change these as the program runs. Okay. All right. One other thing we're gonna do is to create an on mouse event. We're gonna put in an x coordinate equal label, and it's gonna be an empty label, 200 by 380, size equals 16. So one part of the project here is if I click on one of the fish that swim by, it's going to give its position where I clicked at. So this was so that I can get a mouse event as part of the requirements. And we'll show you when the final project's done how that works. But these are just going to be blank labels, and then we're going to use that when we run the program here. Okay, so we run it. We got everything set up for the background here. So now we're ready to create the fish and start to animate them. All right, in this next part here, we're going to start creating our helper functions. So our first function is going to be create fish. And with the create fish function, we're going to use a y variable, and we're going to use rand range from 220 to 360. Now what this is going to do is this is going to position the fish somewhere in the water, either at the top of the water or kind of the deepest part of the water here. So we're using a random variable for that. For our color, we're going to say choice, parenthesis, we're going to create a list here. In our list, we're going to have orange, we're going to have blue, we're going to have green. You can use whatever colors you want here. Purple, and red. Okay. Well, red needs to be in single quotes. All right. For our fish, we're going to put it into a group. So the fish is going to be made up of 3 different shapes. Okay. The first shape is an oval. So we're going to say oval 395. And then we're going to place it at Y. So its X position is 395. So it's going to be slightly off the screen in our Y position. And then we're going to say 30 22 for the size, and fill equals, and then we're going to put in that random color. Okay. Star, that's going to be the tail, 410, Y, 15, 3, fill equals color, and we're going to say rotate angle is equal to 260. And then for the fin, we're going to use an oval, 400, Y plus 5, so we're going to move it down 5 from the position of the body. 12, 22 for the size, fill equal color, rotate angle equal 320, opacity equal 80, and then that should end our group there. All right, for the next part, we're going to establish how fast the fish is going to move across the screen for its X value. So we're going to say fish dot dx is equal to, and we're going to do negative range, and we're going to go from 1 to 4. So it's going to give it a random value, 1 to 4. So the slowest it'll move would be 1 unit to the left. The fastest will be 4 units to the left at a time. And then after we create this fish, remember we got to add it to our fish group. Okay, so we're going to add fish. Okay. All right. Okay, let's create another function now to get the fish moving. So we're going to say, so this function will move the fish. Should have added create fish. This function creates a fish and adds it to fish group. Okay, to move the fish, we're going to say, let me move this up here. We're going to say definition move fish, and we're going to say for fish in fish group. Now we're going to use some of these advanced properties now, so we're going to use dot children. So this is going to target all the fish in the fish group. Okay, so it's going to say fish dot center x, it plus equals fish dot dx. So what this is doing is it's targeting all the fish in the fish group, and it's changing its new center to whatever we got in line 44 with how we wanted it to move. So it's adding a negative 1 to 4 to the center of the fish. So that'll have the effect of moving it across the screen to the left. Okay. Now we're going to write the code to catch the fish. Okay. So this is the code on how to catch the fish. So what we're going to do is if fish dot hits shape, so this is another requirement of the project. I had to use this command, one of these commands. If that's equal true, so that means if the fish is on this path here and it gets to the hook, so it hits that shape, which is the hook, then what we're going to do is we're going to change this caught label value, another requirement of the project, from I'm trying to catch a fish to I caught one. We are also going to change the line to false. So what that'll do, the dash is to false, so that'll make it a solid line like they caught the fish. So just some visual reference that they caught a fish on the fishing line. And we're going to switch the fish center, we're going to change its value to wherever the hook is. So it's going to move that fish right onto the hook. And then we're going to have the illusion that the fish is turning up, like the fisherman caught it, by changing the rotate angle. So we're going to turn it 90 degrees. And now we're also going to change the swim label to fish are scared now. Okay. Now, if, so the next thing I'm going to write here, if the fish makes it all the way across, so it's the fish dot right is less than 0, we're going to remove the fish from the group. Okay. So removing fish that go off screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if fish dot right is less than 0, we're going to say fish group dot remove fish, which was another requirement of the project. Okay. All right. Let's add um, a mouse event here. All right. So I'm going to say definition on mouse press. We're going to send it the parameter mouse X, mouse Y. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the X coordinate value equal to mouse X. And we're going to change the Y coordinate value equal to mouse Y. All right. Okay, so when we do this here, this should, when I run it, when I hover over the fish, what it's going to do is it's going to write down the coordinates at the bottom of the screen here. Okay, and we'll check this in a second when we run our program. Okay, now let's get it moving. Okay, so let's do our on step. So we're going to say app dot step plus equal 1. If ran range to 100, so random number 1 to 100, if that is less than 4, so 4% of the time, we're going to create a new fish. We're going to call the create fish function. Okay, so that'll add a new fish in. Okay, and then the last thing to do would be to move the fish. Okay, let me pause it here and then we'll try running it. Okay, one thing I forgot to add that I'm going to do right now, and then there was one error when I tried to run this, and we'll fix that. Okay, so I forgot to, before we do our helper functions, after we have the x coordinate, y coordinate, I forgot to create my fish group. So this fish group equals group. This is where I'm going to store each fish that I create here in the definite create fish. Okay, so I put the fish group add, but I need this command in here to set up a fish group. So you're going to need that. The only other error I needed to fix, and then this was running, I forgot to put a colon after my if statement. So after line 54 on mine, I need a colon here. Okay, so we run it. Fish start moving across, trying to catch a fish. Let's see if the purple one hits it. Yep, its tail caught it. We caught 2 more red here. Other fish swim by, they go off the screen, they get removed from the group. We see we have different speeds on here. of the fish moving. The other thing we have is if I click on a fish, I can see the exact location of the fish when I click on it, which was, I needed to have some type of a mouse click event on here. So we have that. Okay. Well, I hope you like the project. Maybe it's something you can use in class. Maybe you can adapt it and make something else similar to this. But thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe.